We're going to start with the future of Conor Gallagher. This is the big story of the day, isn't it? Now, Atletico Madrid, they've agreed terms in the region of £34 million with Chelsea to sign him. We know that Tottenham are interested as well. Chelsea also expecting them to make a bid. Any move now, though, is down to the player. He rejected a new 2-year deal just yesterday. If we're looking at Spain, do you think, Sam, a move there could suit Gallagher?
Yeah, definitely. I think when you look at the type of football Diego Simeone plays and Atletico Madrid, he suits that almost rugged, aggressive, he's always on the front foot. He's always trying to press players, and he's also a player that can get goals, get assists as well. But he's the type of player that can fit in anywhere, to be honest. Conor Gallagher, we've seen in the last few years, went on loan to Crystal Palace, had a very big impact there, came back to Chelsea, more possession-based football, and he grew into his game. He became captain. He was one of the players that the team leaned on. And I think at this stage, 24 years old, he's still just going to keep on growing, and Spain could be the perfect platform for him.
We know that Chelsea have tried to get him to stay more than once, in fact. But can you see why he might want to leave?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that he could fit into most teams, most clubs. But let's not forget, Conor Gallagher's also been linked with moves away from Chelsea, almost like how many windows now? So I think it's really interesting because you talk about Tottenham's interest in Gallagher. Aston Villa, we know, had agreed a fee with Chelsea for Gallagher, a larger sum than what we understand the Atletico fee to be. But Conor Gallagher said no. So I think the question now is, what is Gallagher's motivation, in terms of does he want to move to Spain or not? Does he want to move his whole life there? He has 1 year left on his contract as well. So does he want to fight for his place? We know Chelsea have signed Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall in that position. So what does he want to do? Does he want to stay and fight for his place? Does he want to stay in England if he is to leave Chelsea? Or does he want to move abroad? I think these are all really interesting questions, but I think more than ever, it seems like this could be one of the big transfers of the transfer window.
And Sam, if he did leave Chelsea, what would they be missing?
I think they'll be missing a lot, and there's some stats that kind of prove that. Sometimes there's players in midfield that don't necessarily show the impact a player has, but with Conor Gallagher, he was a player that, he gets involved in goals, as you can see, he gets involved in assists as well. He was second only behind Cole Palmer on 7 assists, the amount of touches he's first in the Chelsea squad. And then you look at his defensive side, the duels won, the possession won, the distance that he covers. I spoke to Petrovic last season and he said that he was shocked, and the team's shocked at the fact that he just constantly keeps on going. And I think when you look at his age and his profile, he would be an asset to any team in the Premier League, in La Liga, Bundesliga, and I'm sure we're going to see, as we see, more teams linked with him. But when you look at the midfielders that Atletico Madrid have, you look at their ages, you've got Thomas Lemar, 28, Llorente, 29, De Paul, 30, Koke, he's 32. Conor Gallagher's only 24, and sometimes when you look at the players that Atletico Madrid actually are signing, it is those players that are nearing the end of their careers but can, fit in Simeone's style. This is probably one of the first times we've seen, Simeone really target a player in the prime years, and we're seeing him almost follow the trend of other teams in Europe that, are going for the younger players and are realising, that he can improve them as well. So I think it'll be a great signing, but like you said, Dan, it really does depend on if he wants to make that move.
I mean, those are some brilliant midfielders to be learning from, as you mentioned, just 24 years old. I mean, those are some brilliant midfielders on there. I mean, it'll be really interesting, as I mentioned. What does he want to do? Does he want to move his life to Spain or not? Well, I guess we'll find out. Hopefully
There's been lots of interest, hasn't there? We know that Aston Villa put a bid in for him as well. Tottenham as well, interested. Do you think we could see a situation in the next few days of, a Premier League club coming in for him?
Well, again, you look at Aston Villa. I mean, it looks like they kind of solved that, I suppose, solution in midfield with signing Amadou Onana from Everton for £50 million. I think Tottenham's very interesting, because I think we forget it happened a few weeks ago now, but Pierre-Emile Højbjerg leaving Spurs in that midfield area, going to Marseille to join Roberto De Zerbi. They do have a gap there, I think. I don't think maybe Ange Postecoglou wants to be dependent on Pape Matar, Yves Bissouma, but Bentancur plays slightly further forward. But the way Postecoglou wants to play, I think, as we saw last season, he wants his players to press, he wants them to be aggressive. I'm sure Tottenham fans won't be very happy if Conor Gallagher goes to Spurs. But maybe if he does want to stay in England, stay in London as well for his family, Tottenham, I think, style-wise, would make a lot of sense.
What about if he did go to Spain? Could that affect England's chances?
I don't think so. I think the perfect example is Kieran Trippier. He had a great time in Spain. Won the league there. He came back and made a big move to Newcastle. And I think if you're able to prove yourself in one of Europe's top leagues, which I'm sure Conor Gallagher will do, especially off the back of last season, it's so easy to look at what Cole Palmer was doing, because obviously he was getting the majority of the goals and the majority of the assists. But if Cole Palmer wasn't having the season he had, I'm sure a lot of Chelsea fans can attest and say Gallagher probably would have won Player of the Season, because he was a constant when Caicedo was almost finding his feet at Chelsea, when Enzo obviously had his clear injury as well. He was the player that they were almost fitting the team around. So he's going to be a big miss, but him going into any side, yes, he's going to he's going to find his feet in the first few games, but he's a player that loves to learn and loves to contribute in the side. And I think for Atletico Madrid, where they want to challenge in the Champions League and for the La Liga, he's a perfect player to do that.
Someone who loves to learn and loves to contribute. Reminds me of you, Sam.
Oh, thank you. I'll take it.
What do you think Chelsea fans are going to think about the fact that, they could be losing another academy product here?
I think they'll be used to it at this point, if we're being completely honest. We've seen it with Tammy Abraham, Fikayo Tomori, we're seeing it with Mason Mount. These are players that have come through the academy and that have proven that they can play at the top level, but also with the new rules with PSR and things like that playing a part. I'm sure they even understand that it's something that's a part of football. A lot of the players that have left have said that they understand it. They've gone on to play for Champions League sides and playing at top teams. So I think it's just a part of football now. It is unfortunate because obviously you do like seeing academy graduates come into the first team and really show what it means to, the journey of playing from under eights and going into, it's just different for your family, for the fans as well. You feel connected. But at the same time, you have to look at football. It is a business, so they almost see it from that perspective. So it's unfortunate, but yeah, it's a part of the game.
And I think that's what feels so strange about this Conor Gallagher transfer, because as you mentioned, Chelsea had a few midfield issues last season in terms of injuries, etc., and new players adapting to the club. But he still played 37 times in the Premier League last season. I mean, he was captain, of course, most of the season as well. I think the Premier League links are very interesting as well because, with a lot of other teams we talk about, we say, would they want to strengthen a rival? Would they want to sell to a rival? But I think under this new regime at Chelsea, or relatively new regime over the years, they have sold those homegrown talents to basically where they can get the money from and to their rivals. We saw Mason Mount last summer, selling him to Manchester United. Ian Maatsen has already gone to Aston Villa this window. So it's all very interesting. So whether that happens again with Conor Gallagher to potentially Spurs, I don't think it's out of the realms of them selling to them. It's just whether he wants to and whether there's a deal to be done there.